When navigating the fantasy football trade market, timing is everything. With many leagues setting their trade deadlines in early to mid-November, it's the last chance for managers to poach talent from struggling teams and upgrade their rosters before the playoffs. Here are 10 players to target before the deadline. 1. Nico Collins. Houston's Collins was dominant before his injury, and with a potential return in Week 10, now is the time to strike. The Texans' passing game has missed him, and C.J. Stroud will look to him often. If his current manager is frustrated, Collins could be a game-changing acquisition. 2. George Pickens. Pickens' numbers this season don't tell the whole story. He's faced penalties and replay calls that have negated big plays, but his 28% target share in Pittsburgh's offense makes him a prime candidate. The Steelers' recent trade for Mike Williams could open up more opportunities for Pickens, giving him a clear path to improve production. 3. Garrett Wilson. Wilson's value is tied to his rapport with Aaron Rodgers, and despite the Jets' inconsistent offense, he's been a steady producer. He's scored 4 touchdowns over the past 5 weeks, and even with the addition of Davante Adams, Wilson's role remains intact. Although his trade window is closing, seeing if his manager is willing to deal is worth seeing. 4. Tyrone Tracy Jr. Tracy has taken over the Giants' backfield and consistently delivered with high rushing and receiving volume. With New York facing one of the league's most favorable remaining schedules for running backs, his workload alone makes him a worthwhile target. Fantasy managers unfamiliar with Tracy's potential may be willing to trade. 5. Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey's injury has been a setback, but his return could swing any team's fortunes. He was likely a top pick in your league, and if his manager is on the playoff bubble or out of contention, it's the perfect opportunity to negotiate for the league's top running back. Be mindful of the risk if you're close to your league's trade deadline. 6. Cedric Tillman. With Amari Cooper traded, Tillman has emerged as the Browns' WR1, posting vital yardage and target numbers. Jameis Winston, now at quarterback, has revitalized Cleveland's passing game, making Tillman a valuable option. His target volume alone makes him a solid acquisition, especially if his manager isn't entirely convinced. 7. T.J. Hawkinson. Hawkinson's recent game may not have blown anyone away, but he's still a key asset in the Vikings' offense. In a thin, tight end market, his return to form is promising, especially if he starts scoring again. If his manager is hesitant about his potential, now's the time to swoop in. 8. Cade Otton. Otton has capitalized on injuries to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin to become the Buccaneers' primary target. His 10-plus targets in the last 3 games make him a must-start. If his manager thinks this uptick is temporary, you could secure a potential high-volume asset for a reasonable price. 9. Josh Downs. Switching to Joe Flacco has helped Downs, who now profiles as the Colts' go-to target. Downs has averaged around 10 targets per game with Flacco under center, and the Colts' offense is looking to him as their emerging star. If you can acquire Downs at a fair price, he could become a reliable WR option down the stretch. 10. Jonathan Brooks. The Panthers are giving Brooks a shot as they move on from Chuba Hubbard, who's set to enter free agency. Coming off an ACL injury, Brooks has upside as Carolina's future back, primarily as they evaluate their younger talent. If you need running back depth, now is the time to grab Brooks before his value rises. Making the right trades before the deadline can elevate your team to championship contention. Focus on players with high volume and potential for solid returns.